old pal CHH. You guys like the long form content, and I am going to give it to you. Thank you guys for checking out Garrett's DVD video. By the way, Garrett, people are loving it. It's like McDonald's.
What did you say? Except McDonald's?
It's like McDonald's. They're loving
it. It's like McDonald's. Yeah. Everybody seems to like it a lot, which has been great because it was one of those things that we talked about, and I'm like, I don't know. Even when we started, I'm like, we might get a lot of rebuttal on this. People might be like, you guys are crazy, 4K or is the only way, but it seems like a lot of people really liked it. And a lot of people came out and were basically like, it just brought back a lot of memories. And we've been tagged in some stuff after people watched that show. They went out and bought things like after we were done talking about it. So I think that's pretty cool because again, it was just something a little bit different and people seem to have really loved it. So thank you everybody who checked it
out. I got Night of Living Dead, which I'm going to watch this.
I still haven't watched mine either yet. That's crazy.
So apparently John Russo, who wrote the script and the book, added footage to it. You have the 1998 regular remastered edition, and then they put the John Russo added footage on here. So obviously I'm going to watch that and review it. And I'm assuming it's going to be really, really bad.
I've heard it was a disaster, and it was one of those ones that Anchor Bay really put a lot into as far as marketing and trying to get this out there. And as far as I know, people said that they don't see that version ever getting re-released again. So It's kind of cool to have just based on the rarity of that version. Love it or hate it. I'm always down to just have different things in the collection. So that's cool that you ended up getting it.
This is history, people. And then of course I did get this, which I'm going to review this as well. It's very cool.
Nice edition.
I did get my Bloody Murder in.
Woo!
And then I got Drive-Thru, which I'm watching after this video we're doing. And I'm going to review Drive-Thru, and I'm going to beat Mid-Level Media in subs.
That's the goal right now.
Yeah, so when I do my Drive-Thru review, people like, subscribe, and share the video.
That's awesome.
Listen, guys, I thought this would be really fun. So this is going to be a video kind of looking at the physical media of the show Masters of Horror. I will talk briefly about it. I mean, Garrett, you probably experienced the show in real time, I'm assuming.
Not really, because I'm not so whatever this was on Stars, I think this played, I believe. I don't know for a fact, but I didn't have where it played originally. Like I didn't have the station that it was on. So I saw these for the first time when they came out on physical media, but they came out in single editions. So like each one had a slip cover and a singles with a cool artwork and stuff. That's where I saw them for the first time, and I was collecting them. And I think the first one I ever saw was the one called Jennifer from Dario Argento, which completely blew me away. So after that, I was like, I'm collecting all these things. And then I collected all of season 1. And then when season 2 came out, they also started to put out like different box sets. And at the time, I was really searching for more space. So what I did was I ended up trading in all my single editions to get the box set of season 1, because instead of it taking up this much space, it only took up that much space. So that's what kind of happened with that. And then as we talk about now, just the box sets that I grabbed at the time, based on, filling my collection up and not having such a big spot for those Masters of Horror. And I know me and you have different box sets for season 1. And I showed you a picture of the one you're going to show the other day, but that was at a store that I was at that I took that picture that they had it. But I never bought the big box set. I bought the 2 mini box sets.
For both. Oh, so there's mini box sets for seasons 1 and 2?
I don't know what's the deal with season 2, but I have, if you want me to show them now, I mean, so
yeah, we can just get right into it.
All right. So they had standard editions where you could buy them singles, which I did. The only one I kept out of that was one called,
Cigarette Burns.
No, I didn't keep that one. Oh my God. It's killing me. Afterlife. The one that was
Pro-Life.
Pro-Life. Yeah. That's the only one I have still, because that's the one that didn't. No, was it that one that didn't make it onto the sets? Correct.
Well, I know it's not on that. Cigarette Burns was definitely season 1 for Johnny, and Pro-Life, I'm assuming, was a season 2 movie he did.
Yeah. So
I have the DVD for Pro-Life, and that is my all-time favorite Masters of Horror episode.
That was the the Asian one, right?
No.
What am I
Pro-life.
thinking?
Pro-life. Are you thinking about the Takashi?
Yes.
That's on this box set.
What is that one called?
The season 1 box set.
Yeah.
It's got let me pull this out so we could.
So I don't even know how those are displayed in there. I've never seen that in person.
I
just remember-
don't like it. Imprint Takashi Miki.
Oh yeah. Yep. That's the only one I don't have because that's not on my editions at all.
Yeah, I have the single DVD of that I got the other day. I think I even showed it on the DVD episode we did. And yeah, Pro-Life is the one where John Carpenter directed Ron Perlman, and it's about this girl who runs to a clinic, and she's trying to have an abortion. And the family, it's got one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen in my life. Have you seen Pro-Life?
I have, but it's been a long time. If we've
You don't mind
actually
if I spoil it?
No. Me and Deadpit have been doing. If you guys want to talk about Masters of Horror, if you go on my channel, Deadpit and I have already we've done season 1 and we reviewed the whole thing, and then now we have season 2 coming up in a couple months. So I think Pro-Life hasn't been talked about yet. So I haven't seen it since it debuted, like not on TV, but when I got the first haul of single DVDs.
Well, I'm going to disturb you in the audience real quick. So in Pro-Life, it's this girl who's trying to have this abortion, but she's saying, I need this kid out of here. This kid is not human. This kid is not human. And she gets to the clinic, but her family's coming after her, and her dad is Ron Perlman. Ron Perlman, I mean, no disrespect. He's an interesting looking human. Like he's weird looking. Like he just is. So he's uncomfortable to see. I'd rather see him as Hellboy, quite frankly. But he shows up to the clinic and he's pissed. He's trying to stop the abortion from happening. And he breaks into the room where the doctor is going to use this tool to abort the child. Okay? And it's a drill-like tool. You understand how abortions probably work.
Mm-hmm.
Ron Perlman busts in the room. His son grabs the doctor, like punches him, beats him up, sets him on his back on the table, rips the doctor's pants off, pulls his feet up in the air, takes the abortion tool and shoves it up his ass.
Oh my god.
Dude, it makes you want to gag. But it's the thing about it is it's supposed to be the devil's baby. And what Johnny did that was so good in this episode is the devil actually shows up in it. So it's not one of those Prince of Darkness. That's one of the things I think people kind of get annoyed. They don't like about Prince of Darkness is you don't see the devil. This movie, the devil shows right the fuck up in it. It's it's bizarro. I'm not saying it's the best. I honestly think the Dario Argento episode from season 1 is probably one of the best. One of the worst is Chocolate, the Mick Garris one, which is so funny because he's the guy that's like, we're going to create Masters of Horror.
Right.
But look, let's just call it, I love Mick Garris. I'm sure you do too, Garrett. But the fact of the matter is, Mick Garris just makes some pretty good movies, and he does the stuff with Stephen King. I love Sleepwalkers. I enjoy what have you. What else has Mick Garris done? Critters 2. He's made some pretty damn good movies, but he is not a master of horror. I'm sorry, Mick. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. But then again, I mean, those guys were up against the gun. That they didn't have a lot of money or time, but they had free reign. So that's why I think some of these came out pretty damn good. And I think when you see Dario Argento stacked up against a lot of these guys, Garrett, not only does he hold his own, but I think Dario really is a master of horror. Undoubtedly.
100%. 100%. I also it's funny because we ended up reviewing the Mick Garris one, Chocolate, and we all kind of said the same thing. Like, it is bad, but it's pretty funny because it's always because there's that one scene I think with I'm trying to remember how it worked. Like, he kept seeing people and then he kept getting banged by this Asian guy, and it was just kind of it was so bonkers that I'm like, what the hell's going on here? It's just the whole movie. It's just Elliot from E.T. just getting hammered by all these different people. I'm like,
it's let me ask you a question. All right, what's better? And I know you probably haven't seen a whole lot of this show, but I don't think it'd be impossible for you not
I've
to
seen
see
all
any.
of them, but I mean, I have not seen any of season 2
And
and
that's fine. That's
probably
a long
whenever
time.
this came out.
That's fine. That's fine. That's not really what I was going to ask. I'm going to say this. What is better? And you can equate the time frame of this. You can equate, just the experience. Masters of Horror or American Horror Story? Like, what do you think is more entertaining, more fun?
I'm gonna say Masters of Horror because number one, I don't watch American Horror Story, so I have nothing to compare it to. I've only seen season 1, and I started to watch that season that was kind of like at the summer camp. And I kind of wish I still
84.
kept, yeah, like I kind of wish I kept watching it because I liked it. It's just with shows like that, I have to really have time to sit down and devote a lot of time into it. So I'm gonna say I think American Horror Story is probably a better show overall, but I think for the fun factor, like these little short stories kind of just work for me. Makes me feel like I'm watching Tales from the Crypt or something else. Like I like the concept of that than feeling like, if I miss 10 episodes of this, I don't miss anything out. I can go back and watch them. Where when it comes to shows, it's like if I miss a couple episodes, then I have to go back and left where I kind of take where I left off. And that's what I don't appreciate about that, and why I don't watch a lot of TV is because I just don't have the time to devote to that stuff. So I think as a whole, I'm sure American Horror Story is a better show, like the way it's done and all that stuff. But again, I don't know. I've never really seen it. So what do you think?
Well, I think there are moments from Masters of Horror that rival some of the best stuff I've seen from American Horror Story. My only issue with American Horror Story is, like you said, if the first season I think was called Hotel or something. I can't remember, but I remember there were a couple seasons where I did power through it. The issue with American Horror Story is if you're not in hook, line, and sinker, you there's no hope for you to stick with. I mean, because the thing about Master of Horror that's so cool is, which is why I think Creepshow is continuing to succeed, and they're on their 4th season. I think hopefully going to be greenlit for its 5th. Is if you don't like something, it's fresh the next week,
Right.
or
And
the next whatever.
I've always liked that about shows that do that because, like you said, there's always hope, right? Like even if you didn't like one, you say, well, I'm going to try again next week and not feel like you're going to get burned. Right. So I think that I appreciate shows like that. I actually enjoy shows like that more because I can just kind of jump in whenever and then hopefully find, a gem in the mix. So and that's what I think we had here. I mean, we had some good ones, we had some not so good ones, and that's what we talk about on our review show. We go through each one of these episodes and kind of tell you our opinion on them. But season 2, I have not watched in a long time. But looking at that set that you have, again, that was not a set I purchased because of the size and because what I was looking to do was to get rid of all those single editions and try to find something smaller. So this came out in season 1 and 2, but in 2 volumes. So they're smaller sets. So this is season 1, volume 1, and this is season 1, volume 2. And then the way that these are done is it's almost like a slip box.
I'd buy those if I saw it.
And they've just got, just all the discs in here, singles, but, they're on fold out. So you got season 1, volume 1 in there. So, I mean, it's not, the presentation's okay, but I think for me at the time, it was just to save space. Like if I could go back in time, I would be like, oh, I would love to have them all individually, just because I think they're pretty cool. But these are fine for me now. And I think the set that you have aesthetically is the nicest one because, sometimes bigger is I'm not going to say better, but I like aesthetics of like, it looks like a mausoleum and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, so it sucked me right in when I saw it. I think I don't think the Blu-ray sold that well, so I think they abandoned it. They didn't.
I didn't even realize they were Blu-rays until you showed me those.
So it's volume. So on volume 1, if people want these, and I haven't watched the last 2, but I did watch because you can see that I still got the. I need to just power through and rip these things open without taking them off. But I did watch these, and they looked pretty damn good. Volume 1 is Cigarette Burns, Dreams in the Witch House, and the Fair-Haired Child. Volume 2 is Jennifer, Sick Girl, and Dear Woman.
I like Dear Woman.
Was Dear Woman Larry Cohen?
No, Dear Woman was Landis, I think.
You're right. You're right. Yeah. I know Jennifer was Dario.
Yeah.
Cigarette Burns, John Carter. Cigarette Burns is really good.
Mm-hmm.
And then Volume 3, Incident on and off a mountain road, which was Don Coscarelli.
Mhm.
Dance of the Dead, which had Robert Englund in it,
Mhm.
which was Toby, and Pick Me Up was Larry Cohen. And then they did Volume 4, which was Imprint from Takashi Miike, which is good, but I can see why it's very graphic.
Oh, that
So
was
they,
banned on TV, so that's a rare one. Yeah.
yeah. So, and I have the DVD of it. I should have grabbed it. I have it. It's a DVD. It says banned from broadcast
That's
television.
probably the one I
So
have too.
Takashi Miike said, "Fuck you. I'm doing what I
Yeah.
want." Homecoming with Joe Dante and Heckle's Tale, and then Chocolate is the last one on here. But I think, from what I understand, they didn't sell well. These came out in 2007, so that was early in the Blu-ray run.
Now, who put those out? Anchor Bay?
Yes, Anchor. Yes, and there's the logo if you want to see it.
Yeah. Nice.
That's the crappy Anchor Bay logo.
That was like as they were kind of going into the Stars territory, I think.
Yeah, see Anchor Bay, a Stars. You see it? It says a Stars company.
Oh, does it? Or in the bottom? Yeah.
So if people want those, I mean, they're still available. You can get them. I don't think they're in print necessarily, but I think you can get them pretty easily. But
Did they not do part 2 in Blu-ray? Like,
I don't think they did. I think that because I have a buddy named Kyle that he'll send me a lot of cool stuff, and I believe when he sent me these, and I believe he had told me because I was talking to him about the show, and he was like, "Hey, I'm going to send you some of these." And if memory serves, he says this is all they did on Blu-ray. I don't think they were good sellers because of when they came out, which would make sense, right? Because 2007 is, I mean, I wasn't buying Blu-rays in 2007. I can tell you that for a fact.
That was, I don't even know if I was, because that was really early.
Like a year
Actually,
after
you know what?
Blu-ray was a thing, really.
I think, yeah, I barely was. The first Blu-ray I think I bought was when I bought my first big TV for my condo. I think it was one of those deals where if you bought a Blu-ray player, you got a free movie, and I think the free movie that I got was the Matrix box set or something like that. So that had to have been 2007, maybe 2008.
Yeah.
So yeah, those came out really early in the game for sure.
Yeah. Maybe they're not easy to get. I'm not sure. But guys, if you do want those, if you're gonna buy anything, I guarantee you these ain't. If you're gonna get anything from Master Horror, that ain't gonna be the most expensive thing you can try to get, which we'll look at. But Garrett, before we look at this physical media, we can look at the Mausoleum, and then we can look at your skull. Guys, I want to ask the chat this, and I want to ask Garrett this. Number one, the first question is: do you think Masters of Horror could be done again today with some of the existing directors that are still alive and able-bodied, and B, what new horror directors would you add to the roster? Give me a couple.
I think they should definitely do it again, and I would like to see like Doherty, Ty West. I would even say Jordan Peele. I would like to see him in the mix. Who the hell else do I
Lee
like there?
Whannell.
Who's the dude? Hereditary.
Ari
Aster. Yeah. So those are some I would do. I mean, I would even throw Eli Roth in there. Like these are all people that I would like to see do it again. I mean, damn, throw Rob Zombie in for all I care. You know, throw him in one. So I think
he should have been in that. Well, no, I take that back. Excuse me. Doing 2 movies does not make you a master of horror. But sure. I think if they did it today, he should be thrown into the mix. I think you should put Lee Whannell in there. And I would actually give some actors a shot. David Desmalchian, I read an interview with him in Fangoria. Garrett, I don't know if you knew this. He's a really big horror fan. The guy from Shot at the Devil, Late Night with the Devil. That's the guy.
He was good in that. I didn't realize he was a big horror fan, but he was excellent in that.
Yeah, there's a picture of him at like some kind of convention or whatever, horror convention. He's got the denim with the pins and the horror shirt. So I think he would be a good to direct one of those, but it'd be nice to see it come back. But I almost wonder if the place they would do it now would be Shudder, right? and I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
think it would work. It's just everybody's going to be on board, and I think a lot of these guys would be on board to write a little short, really quick, throw it up there. Especially because Masters of Horror, you had all the big wigs here, so I think a lot of these new guys would be almost excited to be part of the new era of Masters of Horror. Like I would even obviously throw in, what's his name there? Oh my god, it's late, but Conjuring guy,
James Wan,
James Wan. I would say he could do one.
Charles Band should get in there, direct one.
Get some band in there.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it would be really cool. I mean, who the heck knows? Even John Carpenter might throw something out there, you know. So, you know, from his couch, you know, he'll direct it from his couch and he'll put it out there.
Action.
But I think it's actually a really good idea, to be honest. I think it'd be good for the genre. I think it'd be good for some of these directors to kind of be considered modern masters of horror. I think it's cool.
Yeah. So, guys, we're going to look at some of the premier physical media for Masters of Horror. And I guess we could start with my Mausoleum.
Yeah, this is the most premier season 1 set out there, for sure.
Yeah, I do like... Can you show those really quick? Can you pull up your DVD sets? Because I'll be honest with you, dude. Like, I really like those. Volume 1, Anchor Bay.
Volume 1. And then season 1, volume 2. So it's two boxes. And again, like I said, you have the cooler looking set as a whole, but these were just...
I like the hologram.
Great for space.
Yeah.
So that's why I chose these over the Mausoleum, but then I went all in on the season 2. Because
so, dude, they went hardcore on physical media for the show.
Oh, they did, because they had all singles with slipcovers, by the way, which at the time, those weren't necessarily a big thing. So, you know, these were doing slipcovers really early in the game. Then you had this set, then you had your set, and then you had the season 2 stuff.
So, guys, this is the Mausoleum. Season 1, Masters of Horror. And you've got the logo right there in the front. And on the side, you get a roster of the episodes. Pick Me Up, Cigarette Burns, Jennifer, Homecoming, Chocolate, Dear Woman. And then you guys
have to watch Chocolate.
You got Takashi's imprint in there. And on the other side, you get all the directors' names. I wonder how many people are annoyed that John Landis is a part of this. You know what's funny, dude? He's really not a master of horror.
No, what do you make, like one?
He made American Werewolf in London, which I agree is a really good movie. But, I mean, this is the guy that did comedies.
Twilight Zone? Yeah, and then he did the Twilight Zone, and that was a disaster. So, you know, I guess... I mean, he did Thriller, Thriller video.
Really, come on, I just ask you a real quick question, dude. Listen, we're not gonna go too long, but listen. Do you think he deserves to? Because there's this outcry that happens all the time. People that want him canceled and disappeared. I mean, I don't think we should stray away from what happened. But I mean, how do you honestly feel? Does he deserve to be blackballed, blacklisted for what happened, or did the jury find him not guilty? And that's
I have a hard time. It's hard, man. Like I don't like the whole cancel thing. I think, you know, if people are going to do certain things, it's like, then they should pay for it by people not supporting their product, not necessarily being blackballed. But it's hard because, you know, he was in control. That was some stupid shit that he decided to do.
Right.
I
think the reality is
it was an accident. I mean, it was a freak accident, but at the same time, like, when you watch that footage, you're like, what the hell was he even thinking? Like, this was like, this is like, they would CGI that whole scene now. They wouldn't have live actor in water with 2 kids going through this water, like, you know, trampling through water, a helicopter up in the sky, things exploding around. Like, that was a lot to ask.
Insane. For
an actor and these 2 kids that weren't even actors. Like, it's insane.
Let me say this, Garrett. You tell me if you agree or not. And this is just reality. And to me, I think if there wouldn't have been an accident on that movie within the next 10 years, something similar would have happened inevitably. That's how I feel. If the guy is
because people were just doing people were pushing the limits too much, and it was just bound to happen.
I think he was acting like his. When you watch that movie set and you hear the stories from that Cursed Films documentary, that was incredible. I think he seemed like he was the 18-year-old kid who didn't wear the helmet skateboarding because he was invincible and didn't think he would ever get hurt, and he was reckless. I feel he directed that way. I mean, I think if
I don't
something would
know,
have
but I
happened,
mean, that's, you look at that scene and I look at that and be like, that was reckless, because just the idea of, you should have never had that actor part of that scene. A stuntman, sure. Kids, no. It was too much going on in an environment like that. Like, they're literally trucking through water. Like, anything could have happened. Those kids could have drowned because maybe he was running through the water and didn't realize he was holding them under the whole time. There was
it was insane.
it just didn't look like there was any direction. It was just like, get me from here to here. We'll figure it out. And there was just so much going on. Like, imagine you trying to like do a scene and there's explosions and fire and a helicopter above you. Like, that alone is scary. You weren't on no sound stage or anything like that. This wasn't fake props. This was a real thing. Like,
Yeah, I had anxiety watching the clip, and when they showed it on Cursed Films, I'll be honest, I was pretty shocked. They showed him getting killed. They showed Vic Morrow and those two kids being killed. I mean, it was insane. So
I agree.
I just thought it was. I'm sorry, guys, for the audience. I think it's important to comment. I don't like to shy away from those topics. I think it's important to have a healthy, honest dialogue. Because listen, we all have an opinion on it, and it's important to share it, right? Without.
And I didn't really know that story until like later. Like, I was already a big fan of that movie and had no idea that even happened. Like, I really wasn't aware of that situation until a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why that totally kind of went over my head. I don't know if it was just when it happened, I was a little kid, so I don't know, but I didn't even realize that was such a travesty that happened during that movie.
Yeah. So, guys, going back to this, the Masters of Horror box set, you've got your roster on one side. I really like this. You got your roster on one side. You got your directors on the other. This is your Mausoleum top. And on the back, it's just like the gate for the Mausoleum. Now, could you imagine if they did this for the movie Mausoleum from the 80s?
That'd be sick.
So this top comes off.
That looks like it could be a promo item for like the Mausoleum movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, this I don't love. I'll be honest with you. But, I mean, I get it. How else were they going to stack these? They can't. I thought maybe when I first heard of this, they were going to put DVDs in here, but it would have had.
That's what I thought maybe. Like, I thought maybe all the singles were going to be in there because I wasn't sure.
So they're in these little cases. I'll just take one out to give you an idea of what it's like. So it's got the director's name on it with the movie at the bottom. And I will give them this. At least they put all the features and stuff on the back of these. So you get all the bonus features. It tells you what extras it has on there and everything. And they're easy to get out. And luckily, the guy that I bought this from on eBay, it said he never watched or used it. So all my discs, believe it or not, are not scratched at all. So, I mean, it's just, I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff. And when I saw this, like I said, not the coolest thing, but I mean, this is to display it. So, I mean, and listen, I'm a bargain guy. So I got this pretty damn cheap. It was one of those eBay make an offer, and I made the guy an offer he couldn't refuse. What can I tell you? So I got it pretty cheap. Plus, it had a little bit of damage right there on the cover. And I think this is actually missing some kind of piece on the front. I'm not sure. I couldn't find any images online. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, this is just cool. Now, where would I have found this back in it? Like, where would this have been?
It could have been Best Buy, maybe. I don't remember. I mean, I had a place, Movie Stop, where I think that's where I got this season 2. So that was definitely there because I can remember picking it up and be like, I want this. And I'm like, nope, you got to get something smaller. So
you said that, or one of your
I said that to myself because I said it to myself because I was like, this is the only reason I'm trading these in to get these sets is because I don't want all that shelf space for these when I can house them in something like this. But then when I saw that, I was like, oh no, what do I do? And then I ended up going with these and ended up getting the season 2 big piece because again, it wasn't so big. And at the same time, it was just so cool and detailed. I was like, I need this.
So yes.
Season 2.
So tell me about you get season 2. What year do you think this is? 2008?
I can tell you right now.
7, 8, 9.
It's gotta be around that time. It's 2008. Yeah, 2008.
And how much did you pay for it back then? You gotta remember.
I really don't know. No idea. Maybe $50. Maybe I don't know.
That sounds
$40.
like a steal for that retail, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, it was probably around that. I don't remember, but I've had it for so long now. And that's season 2. Like,
And before he shows this, guys, I'm gonna let y'all know something. I went on eBay and I looked on some websites. There's only one listing so far I found of this because I want this so bad. And the only one I found was a brand new one in box with shrink wrap that this guy wants $300 for. Obviously, I'm gonna only buy this if I can get it dirt cheap or a bargain. Like I said, I'm a bargain guy, but I think
trying to
this
get
was,
this at what they want now is craziness.
guys. I think this is probably limited. I imagine Garrett can find a number listing if it's one out of blank on there. If
I
it's
don't
on
think
there,
it is, but I really don't think so. No, it doesn't say. So this is now. Here's what I don't know. I don't know if there was other ways to get season 2, like in these packages. Like I don't know if this did it or not, but this is what I got, and
look at that.
And it's a skull. Masters of Horror season 2, and then on the back, it's got all the stuff. Now, again, it's kind of like the Mausoleum. It's cool, but there's also some problems with it. But I will say the thing that I like about it the most is that it really is well made and it looks really good. Like as far as
is that box kind of flimsy that you hold the skull in?
It's like a plasticky, like it is.
You know what you could do, Garrett? Why don't you talk to your case representative and give him the dimensions and put something sturdy in there. That way you can keep your little plastic thing with the logo on it.
I probably could actually.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But this is the thing. Look at that. I mean, it looks dirty. It looks very real, actually.
I like that the mandible is missing because that would make sense on finding skeletons and stuff.
Yeah, and it says right there, Masters of Horror. It says it on the front of the head.
Dude, why didn't you get all the directors to sign that thing like Johnny and Mick Garris? Dude, think about that.
That would be sick. I never thought about that.
Think, McFly.
Think. But it's really cool. It's very detailed. And again, the downfall of this is how they're displayed in here.
Oh,
so that's a little rough, right? Like, look at that.
Oh,
there's literally there's not even padding or anything in here. It's not even anything. Look, you're just gonna take the disc out
and you
slide it right back in. I mean, I guess. I mean, I've only really watched these once.
Is Pro-Life in there, or do they have a track listing on the back of that plastic thing? I'm just wondering if Pro-Life is in there.
It's got to be. I'll tell you right now who's in here.
Dude, that thing is so expensive.
Black Cat, Damn Thing, Pretty Dream Cruise, Pelts, Pro-Life. Yep, Family, Right to Die, Screwfly Solutions, Sound Like, The V Word, Valerie and the Stairs, The Washingtons. We All Scream for Ice Cream. That was definitely Tom Holland.
I don't remember liking Pelts that much. I think that was Dario again. I can't remember.
It was Dario again. You know what? I have not seen a lot of those in a long time. So I'm gonna be revisiting them soon to do our season 2 review show.
So you're gonna be pulling them out the skull for the season 2 review?
I'll have to pull them out the skull for season 2 and hope to God that they don't scratch on the way out. So again, it's a super cool set. It's super rare, but like I said, it's the display isn't the greatest inside, but I mean it is a very unique piece when it comes to horror collecting and physical media and stuff. So I am happy to have it because it is so very, very rare now. I don't know what
clip back on or what.
Yeah,
there you go. There you go.
But I don't know what the run of this was. Like I just remember seeing this, and I think it was pretty readily available for a while. I'm almost positive. I don't really remember.
Well, it could be one of those things, man. That's just like when it was available, it was available. And then once it goes away, it's just like, it's one of them things, where it's just like, sometimes these things, they almost disappear to where if you don't own it, you kind of question in your mind, wait a minute, did that really exist? Because I haven't seen it. Like because some stuff, it still lingers around. You'll see it. But, what's interesting is I don't remember seeing any of these when I was going to, FYEs or Sam Goodies at the time, or even Suncoasts. Like some stuff I'm not looking for it, but you think I would notice a goddamn Mausoleum. You know,
Sure.
it's just one of them things. So yeah, this was what I love about these right now is like the vintage DVD exploration is I'm still learning about all these cool releases, you know, and
so when I look at Anchor Bay, especially because they did a lot of these cool, unique releases, it is one of those things where it's like you're gonna get the cool box. But when it came to how the movies were displayed inside, it's usually kind of a fail. Like the tins, you know, the big tins are cool, but they're basically the discs are in there in like a CD case. Like, I mean, they had to you kind of had to get good with the bad, you know, when it came to these kind of like crazy releases where like the sphere ball that they did is awesome. But then when you open up the ball, everything's in like little sleeves, like of foam. So, you know, you kind of have to get the good with the bad. But like you said, these are like top shelf items where you would display along the top shelf of your collection. And they kind of have more display pieces than just shoved in the middle of your physical media shelf.
Yeah.
So that's what's kind of cool about these. And yeah, and I don't know if you know much about the season 3
Enlighten me.
of the Massive Ops. Okay, so they were coming out with season 3, and then it got scrapped. So they decided to utilize the stories that they wrote and come out with a new show, which was kind of a little bit more kid friendly, called Fear Itself.
I haven't heard of that.
Okay, and it's only got one season, so this is the unofficial season 3, and it comes in a little grave.
What
so this might be one that you're gonna probably want to chase down. It's actually a very
is it good?
It's not that great of a show, no, but it's a very cool addition. But it's kind of cheap. Like this almost feels like this is a little grave, but it almost feels like something you get at like a Halloween party store. Like it's like a weird material, but it opens up and you've got that's like foam. And then you've got discs in here.
Oh, they ain't even got artwork on the discs.
No. So this is pretty cheap. But
shoot. And that's Anchor Bay.
Piece just came. It's actually not, surprisingly. It's Lionsgate.
Did you watch that when it came out? Or
I've only seen this show once when it came out. And I don't remember it being great. But again, a lot of the times in a lot of these shows that are like almost anthologies or different episodes, I always forget which comes from where. Like, you know, I have Tales from the Dark Side, I have the Hammer horror one, I've got these like Tales from the Crypt. Like I always forget which comes from what. But it's been a long time since I've watched this as well. But yeah, this is 2008. This was released as well. And again, this is supposed to be like the unofficial Masters of Horror season 3, but it's probably worth a snag. And I bet you can probably get that pretty cheap.
Yeah.
It's called Fear Itself.
Garrett, if you have 2 minutes,
yeah,
I want to do a bonus for this episode, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I had to finish your second room tour video the other night because I forgot I didn't finish it. So the other night I was going back through some of my watch laters and I was like, oh, I forgot about that. On your DVD shelf, this is just for me, to hell with the audience. On your DVD shelf, you showed this coffin box set that I think said like Monsters on it or something, Universal something. It's a coffin. It was on the shelf in there. Go grab it.
I have two. It's either there's the Universal Monsters coffin right here.
Yes.
Or there. Oh,
there you got 2 coffins. Grab both coffins because I got to see these. I'm obsessed with these coffins. Yeah. I'm sure the audience won't mind looking at some more box sets. Maybe, I don't know if Garrett can still hear us, guys. I can hear you. Yeah, we got a bonus.
Oh, all right. So this one is
that had the Undertaker logo on it.
This is Tombs of the Blind Dead box set.
Tombs of the Blind Dead.
Yeah, this is a good. That's a good flick. But there's 3 of the 4 of them in here. This is all Blue Underground stuff.
That must be an old Blue Underground.
It's an old set. It's 2005. So it's cool. It's a nice done box. And then
this one I need to get in my collection.
All right, this one's a little less, like, quality is less. Like the other one feels nicer. This is Universal Monsters Blu-ray box set.
Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I thought it was DVD.
No.
Wow, that's newer than I thought it was.
And then this comes inside as.
Oh, see, I have that exact box set. I didn't know you could get it in a coffin.
So this was probably the limited coffin piece, but
Son of a
um,
bitch.
I think this was because I think this coffin was limited to overseas.
Yeah, that's the exact. I bought that box set off Amazon, and it said it was region free, which that's it. But I didn't know I could get it in a coffin. Look at that.
In the coffin. Whoops.
See, I'm a sucker for stuff. I wish to God Scream Factory or what you call it would do something with like that again. Could you imagine, Garrett, if they would have said, "Hey, guess what, guys? We're doing a box set for Night of the Demons 1, 2, and 3, and it's gonna be in a jack-o'-lantern, and on the front of the jack-o'-lantern, it's gonna be Night of the Demons logo, and it's got a battery you can turn on, and it'll light up like it's glowing. And we're gonna make 500 of them.
I would have bought that bundle. I'll tell you that much. I would have bought that bundle.
You heard they were making a box set release, and they said no, or they scrapped the idea, or what?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Why do you think? Because Arrow Video said, why won't people buy Children of the Corn if we do first on 4K and 2 and 3 on Blu-ray? Why wouldn't they? They decided it was okay to do that, and I bought the Children of the Corn 1 through 3 because that's the only ones I want. Those are.
I don't know.
Movies.
I mean, I don't know if they thought it would be easier to. See, you wonder with some of these companies if they're like, well, we could do the box set, but it would probably sell more if we had them individual because some people think that part 3 sucks. So maybe they'll only buy the first one, or maybe people will just want part 3 to like add to their collection. So I don't know from a financial standpoint, they think they're going to make more money on a single release and just assuming, well, if they want them all, they'll just get them all. But I look at it as like, at least give us an option, right? Like
your collector's label, make collectible stuff.
Like, if they want to do it that way, at least give us an option of like, hey, you can get them separately, and it really only comes down to like, hey, with this bundle, pay an extra $10 and get a box to house them in. Like, that's really all it needs to be. Like piece of cardboard that's part of the bundle, but instead it's like, no, well, instead we'll give you stickers and a pin when it's like, well, I'd rather just have a cardboard box for that price that I can put these all in and display them nicely on my shelf. So I really do think it just has to do with, I really don't know. It's a cardboard box. Do they think that the pins are more valuable to collectors? I don't.
No. Only people like Dude Loves Movies buys pins. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Garrett, listen, thanks, man. I'm gonna leave you alone for a while. Unless the people say no, keep making more. I'll find something else to do.
No, I told you I love going back in time and talking this physical media stuff, and that's why we did one of the shows on my channel, and I'm thinking of some cooler stuff to do that's around the same thing because I think it was super fun. People really dig it. Some of the long form content, but also going back in time and seeing things they never even knew existed, or that brings back a lot of nostalgia. So I really do love doing these. So I'm you have a cool idea, man. I'm down.
Right on. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Born to Be Red. Check him out on YouTube. 7K. You hit it today?
I just hit the 7K. I need to get that 10K before the end of the year. That's the big goal. So I'm on a good pace, I think, for that. So we're just gonna keep things moving and grooving.
I hear Indonesia's got a sale right now on subscribers.
How much do they cost?
I don't know. I think it's $2 per head.
Oh my god!
Thank you guys so much for real. Enjoy some Masters of Horror, guys. Go out and about and look for some of these. There's really cool individual releases we looked at on Garrett. If you want to see some of the individual seasons, go to Garrett's video channel. And we just did a video on a bunch, and I think I showed some off with the cool slips. Also, I just did a retro DVD haul video I did the other day where I showed some off the cool ones that I have with the slipcover. So go check that out. But it's the box sets, guys. These are so cool. Whether you want to get those individual box sets, or if you want to get one of the Mausoleum, you can still get fairly cheap. The Skull is going to be difficult, but I never quit. So if I
well, you know what? I also say to people in the chat, let us know. I almost guarantee people that watch this don't realize how valuable that skull is. That could be sitting collecting dusts underneath like people's books and stuff, and be like, oh yeah, I had that set, not realizing that thing's like worth quite a bit of money. So.
I would not doubt it. I would not doubt it. Guys, listen, Masters of Horror, bringing it back. Thank you guys for watching this. God bless, and we'll see y'all next time. Huge, giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind-the-scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.